On this video, I am going to be reading a polyglot reading in John chapter 1, beginning at verse 20, looking at the testimony of John when he was asked, "Who are you?" And I'll be reading it in Greek and doing a translation in English, followed with a commentary. So the religious leaders came to John with the question, "Who are you?" John the Baptist. And notice verse 20. Kai hamalagesen kai uk ernesata. And he confessed and did not deny. Kai homalagesen hate ego uk emi ha Christos. Notice he confessed that I am not the Christ. There's 5 words here. Ego emi, or ego emi ha Christos. 5 words. I am not the Christ. John's denying that he is the Messiah. So they ask him, verse 21, Kai erotesan autan. They ask him then, Tiun, who therefore are you? Su Eliase, are you Elijah? Elijah was to come before the Lord would come and announce the Messiah. So are you Elijah? Kailege uk emi. And he said 2 words, I am not, uk emi. So notice his answer is getting shorter and shorter. So then they say, Apan. Then they say, then who are you? Are you the prophet? Ha prophetes Esu? And this is the prophet of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy was expecting a prophet before the Lord would come. Are you the prophet? Kai epikrithe. And he answered, ooh. 1 word, no. In other words, his answers get shorter and shorter. 5 words, I am not the Christ, ego uke miha Christos. Are you Elijah? And then 2 words, uk emi, I am not. Are you the prophet? And he answered, ooh, no. Notice how his answers became shorter and shorter. Apan un auto, they said to him, Tis a, who are you? Hina apokrisin domin tois pimpsasin hemas, that we might give an answer to those who sent us. Ti leges peri se autu. What do you say about yourself? And notice his answer. Ephe, he said, ego phone ba ontas inte eremo. I am the voice of one crying in the desert. This is a quote from Isaiah 40, verse 3. Uthunatetain hadan kuriu. Prepare the way of the Lord. Notice his answer. I'm just a voice. I'm just a voice, quoting Isaiah 40. Prepare the way of the Lord. Prepare for the coming of the Messiah, the coming of Christ. So John is just the voice calling for those who would hear his message to prepare for the way of the Lord. A text quoted from Isaiah 40, was looking at a deliverance after Babylon. Here, it's being applied by the way of the Lord, not Cyrus coming, but Christ coming. And John's whole purpose was to prepare the way of the Lord as a voice crying in the desert. Jesus Christ is coming back. We don't know when, but he is returning. He's promised to come back. He said, I'm going to prepare a place for you, and if I go, I will come again and receive you to myself. And so the goal of every minister, of every pastor, of every believer in Jesus Christ is to just be a voice preparing the way of the Lord. And this is a passage that teaches great humility. It's not, what's a voice? That's all. It's not building up and having a popularity and, being very popular. That's not the goal. The goal is just to be a faithful voice. And I'll never forget years ago in seminary when we exegeted this text in Greek, the professor brought that home then. He said, all any believer is in Jesus Christ is just a voice. And so as ministers, as those that want to teach others, we're nothing more than a voice. We should not elevate ourselves, but be that voice pointing to Jesus Christ and his soon return. I remember that lecture years ago in seminary, and I think this text is so insightful. His answers became shorter and shorter and shorter. 5 words, 2 words in the Greek, 1 word. And who are you? In other words, I am not the Christ. I am not. And was his final answer. Are you then the prophet? No. I'm just a voice. What a beautiful text that I think teaches humility.